guys, welcome to 𝘄𝘄𝘄𝗍𝗂𝐶𝐺 podcast. Today is a very special episode as today we are also celebrating the 2-year anniversary of returning from Thailand. If you don't know this about me, I took a trip to Thailand for 6 months. It was a solo trip to find myself, find my purpose in life, and work on being independent and being in solitude. That trip meant a lot to me. It helped me discover my calling. It helped me build a lot of things that I needed to work on. And from that trip, I then decided to pursue this podcast. So I feel like without it, I wouldn't be here today doing what I'm doing as well. The return of my trip meant a lot to me because it meant that I was closing this chapter of being solo, and now I was going to enter a world where I was going to, in a way, bring the community together and open myself to the world in this area of my CSA trauma. So yeah, today is that day of my return back home to Minnesota from Thailand. That 6 months that I took on that trip was just incredible, but there was a lot of challenges in that as well. And today we are just going to be reminiscing about everything that I miss or don't miss or tasted good and maybe didn't taste good, who knows. But I have a few questions here that I will be asking and I will be answering for you guys. The first question, of course, is what I miss the most. And I listed a few things, but the thing that I miss the most is, of course, the food. I feel like the food there is just very affordable. Like you can get something for as little as $1 and it could honestly make you feel like you're full and you don't have to really pack to go or anything. Like their portions are good sizes. I also said that I miss the way that it's convenient and you could just walk out and have access to food. It's not like here where you don't have that. You do have to like drive there, or it's a little bit of a walk to get there. I mean, unless you're in an area that is just very like busy, but for the most part, I feel like Thailand, you could just find like a little vendor at every corner that you go to. So I definitely miss that part. Number 2, I do miss the markets. Like if you tuned into the other episodes where I talked about this trip, I really wasn't a fan of the markets anymore at one point because I think I kind of got sick of it. It was the same thing. They sold the same things. Some were just super busy and it was just like you couldn't even get the food that you wanted as well. So I did get tired of it over time. But I think for me, when I say that like I miss the markets, it's that I miss just the crowd and like the variety of food that you're able to get. I miss how like people are just interacting or live musics are just playing. Like I miss that piece of it. Yeah, I don't miss the piece of like the foods are very expensive at markets, and I don't miss how busy it is where like you can't access your food. It just depends on which market you're at, but the one that I'm talking about is the more like chilled and like semi-busy ones. The one that I specifically miss is the train night market one. It's the one located in Bangkok. I think they have a different name for it now, and I couldn't figure out what the name was earlier. So just the train night market, you'll be able to find what I'm talking about. But that one is the one that I miss the most because sometimes it was busy, but most times it wasn't so busy where you could like just access your food right away. And I will say too, depending on where you go in that area, within that market, you can find affordable food. They have a lot to choose from too, from like seafood, the boiled sour beef dish, and what is it? This one dish where it's like crunchy with rice and like sausages kind of, I think. Those kind of dishes, and you can find all kinds of fruit and Korean corn dogs, things like that. Like you can find a lot at that market. Also, there was a lot to like shop at that market where there was a lot of DIY stuff and it wasn't just the same repetitive things in that market. So I did enjoy that market. Now, to go into the specifics of the things that I missed from Thailand, food-wise, I really missed this noodle dish that I got in Chiang Mai. I was only able to access it when this specific market opened, and this was at one of the hotel that I stayed at. In the back of the hotel, they would have like markets set up there, and on Fridays they would have a morning market, and in that morning market you can tell that it is for like locals because they sell like kimchi, pickled veggies, they sell vegetables, they sell things for the locals. And in that market, on that specific day, Friday, in the morning, they also provide like handmade noodle soups and dumplings. That is one of the best noodle soup I've ever had. I had to wait in line for quite a bit for it, actually. The dumplings itself too, that line was even longer. It's kind of like those 𝘄𝗬𝗍𝗯𝗍 or something like that. Or no, I wouldn't say the 𝘄𝗬𝗍 because it wasn't like fluffy. It was dumplings that had like that juice or whatever inside of it. Yeah, that was what they sold. That was very popular, and the line for that was super long, so I didn't wait for that. But I got the noodle, and the noodle was so spicy, so good. The beef was like braised. It was just so good. I miss that dish. Restaurant foods, this cafe that's called the Coffee Club, it's actually quite common in Thailand, and it's kind of everywhere. You can find it in like Bangkok, Phuket especially. So it's not just like a one cafe, one owner. It's like a franchise of them. And that specific coffee club, they just sell a lot of variety of food. Like they sell French fries. I don't know if they sold burgers, but you could find like a piece of protein there. You could find Thai food and a lot of like truffle stuff, seafood, and the desserts that you could access from there too, like to die for. They were just so delicious and the quality was amazing. I feel like if I could afford this place the whole time I was there, then I would have got food from here like all the time. But I will say that it is in the pricier side compared to like Thailand prices, right? Because it was around like $6 to like $9 for dishes, maybe even higher. And that is pricey for prices in Thailand. And since I was on a budget and I was on a one-way trip to like Thailand, I didn't know if I was staying for 6 months. I couldn't access that all the time. But when it was like special occasions or I was feeling kind of gloomy or down or lonely, then I treated myself to some dishes from there. And yeah, that was just, I missed that cafe and I missed the meals and the coffee and everything from there. Other than that, I do miss durians. I feel like the durians over there are just more authentic, less chemically, and more fresh and affordable, of course. There is also a Korean all-you-can-eat barbecue that I really, really miss because it is just so affordable. I love it how I'm able to access all kinds, you know, like it's not just a bibimbap or it's not just tteokbokki, it's like a buffet, so they have everything that you could choose from. And it's just, honestly, it was only like $6 for the all you can eat, and they just had so much to choose from that I just miss it so much. I didn't do the actual like Korean barbecue one because already like the dishes like tteokbokki or bibimbap or kimchi soup or wings and fries and all of that, like all of that came already. Like you could choose between paying $6 to access all of that or paying like maybe $9 or $12 to get beef where you could barbecue it at the same time. And of course it's like I already get all of these additional food like already by itself, I'm not going to be able to finish these and then eat the food that I grill as well. So I just stuck with all of the food that was already with the $6 price. And that already, just having everything that I wanted from there already fulfilled me. I did kind of feel like, what if I just go and get the Korean barbecue and I could eat some of this a little bit later? But every single time I went, I always was just craving all the other things, and like the beef that I could have grilled, like it just wasn't something that I wanted at that time. But yeah, that Korean place is something that I really, really miss. I could probably name a whole bunch, but these are all of the ones that come to mind when I talk about what I miss the most about Thailand and all of the specifics in there. Next is the things that were my favorite that I still think about. I still think about the location that I was at in Bangkok. It was in the area of where this hotel that I stayed at, which is called 𝘄𝘄𝘄𝘆 Boutique Hotel. In this area was where I was able to access all that Korean barbecue buffet and the train night market and the gym, like 5 different kind of malls and like 5 to 6 different kind of night markets. Like it was just so convenient, and you could literally just walk there and you could have access to everything. Like I miss this location. I miss how like you could be part of the crowd, or you could stay at your hotel and it wasn't so busy where you could like hear loud music or loud noises too. So I miss this location the most. The other thing that I think of is the people, of course. I think about these specific people because they played a bigger impact in my travel and they were more involved. Of course, I miss the housekeeper at the place that I was teaching some students. I miss her a lot because her and I had a connection where it was like, she was like my sister. Even though she was older than me, she was very, very goofy, and like she wasn't like a role model type of older sister. She was like a twin sister, I don't know how to explain it, but I miss her because she's just so funny, so open, and I was just able to connect with her in ways that was incredible compared to everybody that was there at the center. And I think about her because she's just so kind and giving to me, at least. And yeah, I just miss her dearly. The other person is, of course, my cousin that I met when I was in Thailand, in Bangkok. My cousin there, I miss her a lot because her and I also had a connection. Like, she just provided so much for me when I was there and took care of me and helped me in so many ways. We spent a lot of time together and we just got to know each other and we connected in that kind of level. I think about how we connected in the ways that we did, where I even talked to her about my childhood trauma. At one point, we had this one dinner, and I was gonna go into this after, but since I'm talking about her, I'll just tell you guys now. I had a moment with her where we just had deep conversations about our life, and she was very like sympathetic, and she was angry at what happened to me, and I could just feel that she cared for me and she understood, and yeah, all of those things. I just feel like those kind of moments are the kind of moments that I really appreciate and I really value, because I value really deep connections like that. It wasn't just my things that I got out of that conversation or meeting or whatever. It was also things that I learned from her that I just feel like when you get these kind of deep conversations, it means more to me. So that is why I miss her too. I miss how caring she is as well. The other people that I miss is, of course, my friend Namning and Emmy. I still keep in contact with Namning for the most part. Like, we talk here and there and we support each other in everything we're doing. I think that is still kind of hard for us to communicate because of course there's that language barrier, but we still try and we know that we love each other and we support each other. As for my friend Emmy, I don't talk to her because she doesn't really know English and I don't know Thai, so I only have her like on TikTok, so I only see her post sometimes. And the last time I saw her post something, like she cut her hair and it was like short, and I made like a comment on her. But yeah, my two Thai friends there, Namning and Emmy, if you don't know them, they were the very first Thai friends that I made when I went to Thailand, and we built a connection where we hung out, and I even went to like Namning's house and they picked me up to go eat dumplings and massage and all of that. Like, they were really sweet, and me just saying it like that, it sounds like it's crazy, but yeah, it was safe because of course there was that trust that I built with them, and I saw that they were kind people. They had like businesses, people knew where I was and things like that, so I was safe. My two Thai friends there, I really do miss them and I think about them quite often. So those are all of the people that truly made a big impact in my travel that I still think about, and I still miss them to this day. Now to go into what I miss the least. Okay, number one, I don't miss the thin walls and the slow Wi-Fis. You know, when you stay at a hotel or you stay in an Airbnb that's like somebody renting their apartment, it's not the best quality. And I feel like overall still like the quality of some buildings in Thailand are just built to provide a room quick for you to sleep and then go. But for me, you know how like I was there for 6 months, sometimes I would stay at a place for like a month and a half, and the walls are just so thin and the Wi-Fi's are used throughout the whole building, so of course they're slow. I don't miss any of that at all. Number two, the uncomfortable beds. I feel like a lot of the times these hotels or Airbnbs had beds that were just cheap and not the best quality because it was to provide for people to come stay quick and then leave, you know, so they didn't have the most comfiest bed. I think there was only one hotel that had the most comfiest bed that I wanted to stay in the whole time, but the location was not the best location. But other than that, like most of the beds were either hard or just uncomfortable and just not cozy. Like it just is not something that you can sleep on for the long run. So I don't miss any of that. Number three, I don't miss the weird energies. And when I say that, I'm talking about like whenever I was in an environment that gave me the weird energies, like spiritual stuff, I feel like I could sense or something was off, and I don't miss any of that in certain locations or certain areas that I walked past on a daily. Like, I know it's bad, that why would I return to that, but that was the only route that I was able to take. Things like that, like I don't miss any of that weird energy and weird energies in like pools. I don't miss any of that, especially when you're traveling alone and you're solo and you're walking in the dark alone. Yeah, I don't miss any of that. Number four, the limited selections of clothes. Yeah, people probably don't think about this, but I actually dislike this piece of my travel because I felt like I couldn't express myself and I had to wear the same clothes over and over. It really did teach me to appreciate what I have and to not go searching for so much in my life, you know, to like have so much of that I can't even appreciate what I have. But I really did miss having a bigger selection of closet. So yeah, that was something that I don't miss, which is the limited selections of clothes. Number five. Okay, this one is very, very like, I really don't miss this at all. I don't miss stressing about my visa runs and just the paperwork and all that stuff with my visa. I feel like that was the most stressful thing during my whole trip. Like, if I was to stress on anything, it was always that, because if you've traveled and you know how visas work and how visa runs have to happen if you want to stay longer in some kind of country. So it's very complicated, and I think that I struggled a lot because I didn't have somebody who traveled like me, and I wasn't able to access like one-on-one information from them. If there was anything on YouTube, then you either had to pay for it or you had to contact them and they didn't really respond. You could contact like directly the visa places and things like that, but the waiting line was long and they would give you misinformation. So all of those, I don't miss it at all. I don't miss stressing about that, trying to figure it out. I don't especially miss doing the visa runs because the lines are so long, the drives are so long, and you just waste a whole day of just trying to extend your stay, basically. And not just that, but it's also like you pay $100 or so to get it all figured out and done, and that is just a lot of stress that I don't miss at all. And now I don't have to stress about doing any kind of visa runs or anything because I'm a US citizen, so I can stay here, So I'm just so appreciative that I don't have to stress about that kind of stuff anymore. And number 6, I put this down, and this might sound really, really silly to some of you guys, but because I was on the go and I was traveling alone and, going all kinds of places, and my luggage was just one piece where I didn't want to carry a lot of stuff because I was by myself. I'm very petite, so I don't want to carry so much stuff that I'm literally struggling, and it's embarrassing to just not be able to carry all your luggage and have other people help you. So I had a very limited closet in my luggage, and I was very cautious on what I brought and what was important. So I did not bring any like cosmetic stuff really, other than like my makeup bag. And the number 6 thing is not being able to curl my hair. Yes, I really hated that I wasn't able to curl my hair. I had to have like straight hair or hair tied up the whole time, and some days I just wanted to have like curly hair and just be all out kind of girly, and I couldn't do any of that. Maybe I could have like used a piece of clothing or like socks at that time, but it's just not the same as using a curling iron to curl your hair too. And so I don't miss that I was not able to do that. Coming here back home now, I do curl my hair sometimes, and I just like having the ability to have that access to curl my hair. So those are all of the things that I miss the least. The next thing that I put down on here is that something I practice in Thailand that I don't practice enough here in Minnesota. Number 1, exploring new things. I feel like I did a lot of that when I was in Thailand, and it was just so easy to be like, oh, I'm gonna go look at this museum, I'm gonna go and look at this cafe, I'm gonna go and try this and that. But here, I feel like I don't do any of that actually. I feel like I just want to be cozy and stay home, and I don't feel safe going out by myself here for some reason. Like, it's just so much crime and so much robberies, and you don't really see people walking around on the daily. So it's very hard for me to have that desire to go to somewhere that I know is very like scary. So I don't do a lot of that anymore, which I will hopefully try to get into, but it is harder for me. Number 2 is appreciating my surroundings. I sometimes go through like certain familiar places, like just a view of like my city or over this bridge or MOA, and I'm like, wow, like I don't take the time to appreciate the scenery and appreciate the people here and what's happening and what's in front of me. I feel like I am used to it, because I live here, so it's like I don't think about these things. I don't take the time to appreciate. I am trying to do a lot more of that, and I'm trying to take more photos and appreciate the moment and be aware of that. I need to be present and that I need to absorb what's in front of me more. Number 3 is calling my friends and family. I feel like I found ways to get creative with contacting my friends and family when I was in Thailand, but it's like here, when I'm here, I don't know, like I just don't reach out to them as much as I did back there, and I just feel like we're here, so we're here. And yeah, I need to work on that and get better at getting routines and getting like a schedule in. That is something that I am aware of, that I was really creative when I was in Thailand, but here it's like if it happens, then it happens. And I feel like I have worked on that, where I do reach out and I do try and I do have them, but I just don't have them as often as I did when I was in Thailand. So this is the last thing that I have to ask and to share with you guys. Do you want to go back to Thailand? I answered yes, but it depends. I feel like I do want to have access to affordable food, affordable living, some of my friends there, and the great energy and environment and the sun. I'm not a fan of the cold, but I do feel like if it's not a great Wi-Fi place and it's thin walls where people can hear me and I can hear them next to me, I feel like I wouldn't be able to continue doing what I'm doing in that kind of environment. So I would be limited and I wouldn't be able to continue what I'm doing now. And this is what I want to do. So that is why it's yes, but it depends. I feel like it is a no if all of those things were not provided. And even if I find access to those things, it's also the things like the visa runs. I don't want to deal with any of that. So I'll rather just stay here, be comfortable, not have to research, not have to plan anything, not have to find out solutions or anything in that area. But if all of that was solved for me, then yes, I would want to go back, and I would want to be in that environment, and I would want to have access to all the things that I did before. But if it comes with the price of stressing about my visa and not being able to pursue my passion and my calling, then no, I would not go back. All right, boss, that's really all I have to share with you guys. I just wanted to take you through a moment of reminiscing what Thailand was like and what we miss and what we don't miss, and yeah, would we go back? I just feel like sharing that with you guys because as we celebrate the 2-year anniversary of my return back home to Minnesota, we should just check back in on how we feel about this amazing trip that we took. All right, boss, that's all I have to say. I hope that you find the courage to go on your own adventure, on your own solo trip. It doesn't have to be Thailand. It doesn't have to be 6 months, but that you find the courage to do something for yourself so that you can grow and become. With that being said, boss, I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your week. And as always, stay being the bad boss that you are. Bye.